Hello, how are you today? It is Sunday and gorgeous outside here, pretty gorgeous. Um, I'm Allison Davis, and here's my question. Would you like to live to be 100? A healthy 100. Hey, Gina. I would love to live to be 100 and more, uh, healthy, a healthy 100. And so I am always fascinated. Hi, Lila. I'm always fascinated with people that do live that long, and they live that long healthily, like they're not, sick in bed and all that. And what did they do? Hi, Linda. How did they get there? And so I love to ask people if I'm around somebody like that, okay, what was your secret? And I love to look at studies where they've done that. So what we're going to talk about today, and they have done studies, all right? What we're going to talk about is a study. It was a study that it started in 1999, and it continues today. And so it's called the Blue Zones. Have you heard of the Blue Zones? Hi, Deb. Well, in 1999, there were a couple of demographers looking at demographics in different locations in the world, and they started exploring. And so they were looking at, these long-lived people, and they were finding these conglomerations of these centenarians in certain areas of the world. And so as they were sort of working on this and figuring it out, one of them circled on a map with a blue pen, and that is really where the name the Blue Zones came from. And so it just stuck, the Blue Zones. Well, later, a guy named Dan Buettner, who was a National Geographic writer and explorer, joined the team, and I'm not sure how much later. And so he's ended up writing books about it called The Blue Zones. And anyway, they're fascinating. And so I want to tell you about these 5 locations and the 9 commonalities these centenarians have. It's crazy and fascinating. Okay, so first, let me just tell you, the life expectancy of an American born today is about 78.2 years. I don't think that's long enough. Anyway. Let's see, but this year, over 70,000 Americans have reached their 100th birthday. So, what are they doing? Anyway, the 5 areas that met the criteria of being called a Blue Zone, hey Kayla, are the Barbagia region, I guess that's how you pronounce it, of Sardinia, Italy, the area of Icaria, Greece, that's a city, the Nicoya Peninsula of Costa Rica, and the Seventh-day Adventists in Loma Linda, California. So we do have one here. Hi, Bob. How are you? And Okinawa, Japan. Okay, so the 9 commonalities they had are in 4 categories. So the 4 categories are move, meaning move your body, the right outlook, what's going on in your mind. Number 3 is eat wisely, so several things about that. And number 4 is connect, and several things about that. You're sweet, Kayla. Hi, Smiley. Okay, so the first one, move naturally. The longest lived people did not go to the gym and pump iron. They were living in environments that constantly kind of nudged them to move. So, without thinking, like they were growing gardens, or they were, they had an existence that didn't have the modern conveniences that we have. I love my modern conveniences, but that's just the deal, Back in the day when people were, washing clothes in the river, that kind of stuff. So these are people living in the hills and just the places where there aren't modern conveniences. So bottom line, we got to move our body, right? Hey, Diane. Hey, Carrie. Number 2, okay, so that was move. Now the second category is the right outlook, and there's two parts to that. Number 1 is purpose. The Okinawans call it ikigai, And then the Koyans call it plan de vida, but basically it's why do you wake up in the morning? You know, I've been really into Napoleon Hill lately. He calls it definiteness of purpose. What's our purpose? Why are we excited to live life? And, you know, I think a lot of people, they don't know their purpose. And so what I would say to that is just pick something and go that direction. And then something else will maybe turn you a little bit and, oh, you need to go that direction or you need to go that direction. Just pick something and do it. And then that'll lead to other things. Diane, yeah, that counts. Cleaning house. Okay, number 3 is downshift. Basically, that means de-stress. And the last 3 videos I did that are on my timeline and on my YouTube channel are all about stress and coping with it. I had 22 tips that I can send you. I talked about them in those videos, but I can send them to you. So if you want me to, tell me in the comments or send me a message that you want that list of 22 ways to cope with stress. But that is number 3. Huge, huge is stress. It leads to chronic inflammation, which leads to every major age-related disease. And so, you know, what are these people doing to de-stress? Well, Okinawans take a few moments each day to remember their ancestors. Adventists pray. Ikagarians take a nap, and Sardinians do happy hour. So we'll get to that. But whatever, do something to daily, I would say, in the world we live in. Okay, the 4th of the 9, now we go into the next category of eat wisely, is the 80% rule. Don't you love it? Hey, Gina. I love how the 80% rule, 80-20, applies to so many things in life, but it applies here too. So the Okinawans call it Harahachibu. And they have a 2,500-year-old Confucian mantra said before meals that reminds them to stop eating when their stomachs are 80% full. And they teach their kids this. When you're eating, you only eat until you're 80% full. I think that sometimes is like, how do I know? But, you know, I just think it's practice. And it takes 20 minutes for our brains to know we're full. So our brains aren't going to tell us. We just have to like figure that out. Hey, Cassandra and Cheryl, how are you? So let's see. Also, I mean, that can be the difference in gaining weight and losing weight. And in the blue zones, they eat their smallest meal in the late afternoon, and then they don't eat anything the rest of the night. So I think that's a big factor right there. Number 5 is a plant slant. Beans are the cornerstone, and lentils are the cornerstone of most centenarians' diet. They do eat meat, but it's very rare, like 5 times a month. And funny enough, it is mostly pork in these places. Now, you know, I don't know. I don't think that pork has anything to do, the type of meat. I think it is the amount they're eating, like 5 times a month. So, because, you know, we know pork is probably the last thing we really want to eat. I mean, they're kind of bottom dwellers and eating the stuff we don't want in our bodies. But isn't that interesting? And the serving sizes for those 5 times a month are the size of a deck of cards, like 3 to 4 ounces. So just not much meat. Now, a lot of you will love this one, and I've talked about this before. The 6th one is wine at 5 or whenever. People in all blue zones, except the Adventists, it's hard to say, drink alcohol moderately and regularly. So moderately means 1 to 2 glasses per day. Moderate drinkers outlive non-drinkers. What's going on with that? The trick, though, is the 1 to 2 glasses a day, and preferably Sardinian Cannonau wine, like Cannon AU, Cannonau. And you can find it. I've had it. It's really good. I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to get this and it's probably going to taste terrible, but it's good. It really is. So try it. And no, you can't save up all week and then have 14 drinks on Saturday. That won't work. It's 1 to 2. And obviously, if you have an alcohol issue, just don't even go there. That wine, that Cannonau wine, for whatever reason, has 2 to 3 times more arterial scrubbing flavonoids. So, it is from, is Icaria, or I think it's from Sardinia. All of a sudden, I can't remember. It's one of those, either Greece or Italy. It's Italy. And, maybe it's the soil. It's like in a mountainous region. Maybe it's the soil. I don't know. Okay, so now we're going to get to the 4th category of these 9 things. Hi, Kim. And they all have to do with connecting. So the first, which is number 7, is belonging to a faith-based community. It didn't really matter what kind of denomination or anything like that. It just shows that attending faith-based services 4 times a month, basically every week, adds 4 to 14 years of life expectancy. Isn't that amazing? So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Loved ones first is number 8. So this is all about, family members all sticking together. This is all about having grandparents living in the home, or actually what a lot of these people do is the grandparents might live next door, but they're just all in this community, and it lowers disease and mortality rates of the children in the home to have that. So I think that's so awesome. Also, committing to a life partner says can add 3 years of life expectancy. Pretty amazing. And just, caring for children. And so, if we do that, they'll care for us when we're older, right? That's the goal. And the last one is just being in the right tribe socially. So the world's longest lived people chose or were born into social circles that supported really good behavior. In Okinawa, there would be groups of 5 friends that would just commit to each other for life. That's just what they do. Things like, some research that says the Framingham studies shows that smoking, obesity, happiness, loneliness are contagious. So those social, it's hanging out with the right people. There's another line I love, that you are the 5 people that you hang out with. So make them good people. Make them do, you want to be around people that are doing or speaking or behaving like your goal is. So isn't that fascinating? Guys, if you want this article, I can send it to you. Like I said, it's by Dan Buettner, the National Geographic writer. He wrote the books and stuff. Let me know. But it's been so fun hanging out with you here. And, and also the stress, if you want the 22 stress tips. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.